Okay, it's Brent from PathandTarot. We had some fun playing video games. We're gonna continue to do that because I like video games. I grew up with them, but we got to get back to the tarot. Play with these cards for you in these collective readings. So we're gonna be doing that. But we are going to make a little bit of a series for this too. I'm going to make a page for this on the website and set up a YouTube playlist so that we can keep this organized. But we're going to use all three of these decks. I got them shuffling right now. I've I've got them sort of sized differently because you can do that in Orphalese Tarot. But basically, what you're going to be seeing is one of these three in the social feeds every so often. So one day you'll have a tarot reading, one day you have a playing card reading, and then one day you have like an elemental reading, and sort of whatever order kind of makes sense at the time. But they'll all be kind of kept together in like a playlist. I'm going to call it the. Let's go with the PathandTarot suite. I think that makes sense because this is like a suite of cards. These three decks are sort of meant to be used together. They're meant to be used, of course, separately, and they have their own, specific purposes for that. But when they can come together, the forces unite and become something, bigger and stronger than what they're originally meant to be used for. Like we've already used these in card guessing, right? The elemental cards, if you remember that. And they work extremely well, I think. There's still a little bit more to learn, but their purpose for that has been met. And then the playing cards, I see them as just another way to do divination as opposed to the tarot. But we could also use these same playing cards to play games as well, like Beat the Devil. Like you could use this version of the card to play a game. You just have to like ignore the text, right? But the primary playing card is there in the center, so you can use it. And then the tarot deck is sort of a little bit more obvious. You're going to use it for divination and personal growth and looking inwards to see and uncover things that maybe you're not paying attention to. But when they all come together, I think that's when a lot of cool things really start to happen. A lot of synchronicities start to be uncovered. Synchronicity tends to happen like in the world around you when you start to use these tools, like the tarot more specifically. The world just seems to bend to your will in weird ways, or at least to your intentions. Um, Unexpected things happen because you've been thinking about them a lot. So you see that in the world around you. But what actually happens when you use more than one deck in divination is that the decks start to also exhibit that sort of synchronicity that you'd find in the world, but it's happening in a more an immediate way, where it's happening right there on the table as you're using the cards, or in our case, like the digital layout, the digital play space that we're using. The synchronicities become more obvious at that moment. The elements start to match up, or they start to harmonize. You see patterns within the playing cards as well as like the tarots, the pip cards, the numbered cards, the minor arcana cards. It's really interesting. So when they get used together in one sort of sitting, they become more than what they're individually meant for. So that's a really cool thing. We're going to be doing that. So you're going to be seeing a series of different types of videos here on YouTube and all the other platforms that you may see this on. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that. You'll be seeing these videos. So pay attention. You can borrow the energy that comes out of the reading by like setting your own personal intention, like before the reading. If you see the video, you can basically just pause it, take a quick moment to think, oh, what are my intentions right now? Like, what am I thinking about? What do I need to know a little bit more about? Maybe there's something going on at work, a relationship, something that you're unsure of. You're making plans, and you need help kind of figuring things out. What are you missing? Those are sorts of things that can be answered by the tarot and these other cards. But there's other things too, like you can just have it be open-ended and see what the cards give you. I like to do that because they're very uncanny. They just tend to align with like what you're actually feeling without having to express it. So there, you could always fall back on that. And I think that's a more interesting way to do it, because you don't have to choose any one intention. You can actually find out through the cards what is actually that core intention that you're subconsciously thinking about, that you don't even realize it. Because I think when you have to put that human sense of choice into, like, okay, well, what is actually my intention? That sometimes it can actually be quite difficult to do that. So sometimes you gotta let the cards allow you to travel through an emotional crossroads with the element of air and communication. The cards let you communicate to yourself, right? These cards are a way for you to tap into these vague archetypal energies that have a way to express a lot of human interactions, human scenarios, but just really convey like the human condition, what it means to be alive here on the planet Earth. Right? So you have to be determined. You have to be the Cavalier of Pentacles and be determined to seek out good fortune. Someone is interested in you, and that's the universe. the universe wants you to succeed too, right? So there's really cool things that begin to happen, as I spoke of, like synchronicities that you'll feel out in the world. It actually feels like the universe, the world, the intangible physical world, things that aren't necessarily human, want to help you in some way. It's a really weird feeling, but allows you to access that part of you that the material world that people play in don't necessarily promote, because it's just not a part of that. This allows you to get into like what your true self is really meant for, what your true calling is. Get in touch with nature a little bit more as well. And you'll find out that the universe loves you and wants you to succeed, and boy, does it have a sense of humor. It is willing to disappoint you in order to get its point across, but also to help you, to show you that you have to learn from things. And we've already seen a synchronicity here right now, right? The fives. And as you can see, the playing cards, this is an example of the difference between playing cards and their meaning set as opposed to the tarot meaning set. They are actually quite different. The Five of Cups and the Five of Hearts and Water means something a little bit different. They sort of mean almost similar things, but not quite, because the Five of Cups is like an emotional crossroad, right? Jealousy and close company and potential disturbance. And this one's disappointment. So they kind of are on, they're in the same map, if we want to think of it like that. Like they're in the same area, but not quite. But the universe, like this energy that we can't really interact with, it's willing to go that far to disappoint you and show you that it really does care about you. And speak of the devil, it comes out with the universe right here. And what you'll notice here with the tarot cards and the elemental cards and the playing cards is that they all share symbolism that's the same, right? The PathandTarot cards have the elemental symbols on them. This is the universe, so it's got a sigil on it that is based on the components of the card itself, but also has the astrological symbol, and then you've got this. I put the symbol of Earth because the Earth element is attributed to the universe card as the Golden Dawn sees it. Remember too that the tarot is it can now be based on artistic choices, but the author of the deck can make a choice as to what symbolic elements to include. It just so happens that this the tarot deck and the cards that follow are based on the Golden Dawn scheme of the tarot. So the symbolic elements are all derived from that. And then, of course, I was able to put my own artistic changes into that to create what you see here. But it all comes back to the Golden Dawn. So if you are curious as to, where this comes from, or you want to know more about some other things that maybe I'm not talking about, and you're thinking, oh, I want to just dive into it and just see what's there, go read anything that's related to the Golden Dawn, and that'll get you on a good path. Chic Cicero and Sandra Cicero, they do really well in the writings. Those are the writings that I've worked with to help create this deck, so that's what I would recommend if you're gonna start. You can start there, but you can also get into the Israel Regardi's Golden Dawn as well. Very big book. It's probably about that thick, but it's worth it if you can get through it. It takes you through some of the ceremonial aspects of magic, to allow you to get to a point of understanding what these symbols mean, and how to use them as well, and how you can think about them. But those are all the things that we'll be playing with when we use these cards. So this video is really just like an introduction to what's going to be happening in the near future, but we also were able to do like a miniature reading and see that the universe had popped out here, and it said, hey, what's up, guys? I know you're talking about me. Come on, let's hang out. And so we actually saw some synchronicities happen right here, right now, as almost to prove the point of how these decks can interact and how you'll feel when you go out into the world after having practiced and played with some of these tools and methods and all that. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can. There's going to be a whole ton of links at the bottom of the video, and if you see this on like a social media platform or something, you can just get in contact with me, or use like the Beacons card, or whatever link I have there, and it connects to all that, and it all works together. And if you sign up for the mailing list, you'll get a free cartomancy set, which I will show you right now. It's basically just a pack of digital cards that are these. You get this. I'll give you this right here for free if you sign up to the mailing list. And you can use this inside of Orpheus Tarot for free if you want. This program allows you to infinitely trial it out with limited features, and purchasing a license allows you to use a lot of custom decks. But just to get started and feel what the program is like, you can do that, and then you can upload like a custom deck, like say this, and you can play Beat the Devil with it. That's a solo card game. Just the way the software is set up, it lends itself nicely to doing that. And then you can do your divinations with it as well, practice the playing cards, but you'll have just like the full digital print of these cards for you to use. Now, I didn't make these specifically, that's why they're free. Wink, 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 wink. These are basically just sort of resized images of like open source playing cards available. They're from the Google Doc Drive, and they're found in the symbols. So you could actually make this if you wanted to, but I've saved you some time here as to resizing them for use in something like this. So I'll give that to you for free if you sign up. So do that. Happy to give this away and allow you to be proficient in cartomancy, because that's kind of what we're doing right now. The act of using cards for divination is cartomancy in a way, so that I would want you to be fluent in that thing, because it's fun. It's really interesting to get into playing cards, the tarot, all that stuff, and it helps you realize that there's another level of artistry that's happening with tarot cards, like designing and all that. So you get to experience it all. So check all that out. Sign up if you can, because you'll get updates from me. And I'll see you out there in more videos very soon. Okay, bye.